Or are you ready with your questions, whatever you need to ask? Okay, let's begin. Shalini, can they all unmute themselves?
Yes, they can, Ektaji. They can unmute themselves.
Okay.
There are a couple of questions on the chat.
Yeah.
One is about being added to a pre-Gurukul group and given instructions on how to journal.
Yeah.
So one of the volunteers can add them if you could add any more instructions here.
Okay. I'll just give you a little idea about what is pre-Gurukul and Gurukul. Those who are very clear that, yes, Advaita Vedanta and Buddha's path is my path, they apply for Gurukul. And to apply for Gurukul, they have to submit 6 exams to me. I go through their 6 exam answers and I decide if this particular drop of consciousness has, number 1, the purity, and number 2, the sharp-sightedness to see. Then I let them enter Gurukul. Yeah. Now to get to 6 examinations is hard on your own. So all the people who have the intention of joining Gurukul, they join a group called Pre-Gurukul. So they're taking those 6 exams simultaneously. You have the Sangha, you are posting in flock all your Swapna Nidra Nyan Sadhana commands, which keeps the mind accountable to the Sangha. Yeah, I get nothing from you being accountable. You stay committed to your path. Just because there is a Pre-Gurukul Sangha, you feel, okay, we are all taking the exams together. Yeah. Plus, it's not just exams, they encourage each other in the flock channel. They are also doing the homework on a weekly basis. They are doing the self-inquiry meditations. So there is a playlist of about 200 self-inquiry meditations. And these self-inquiry meditations help you get established at the witnessing level and finally allow the witness to drop. Remember, again, word of caution, you cannot do anything to make the witness collapse. You cannot do anything to make the witness arise. That happens of its own accord. Only if you're sharp-sighted enough, you start seeing it. Yes? And if you're not able to see it, then the Pre-Gurukul Sangha helps each other. Yeah, I was impure. I have been breaking these Buddha vows. They take 44 Buddha vows. Of course, those who are unmarried take the 44 Buddha vows. Those who are married, only with the permission of the spouse should you even venture into the sexual vows. Otherwise, you should just stick to the 41 vows. All this is explained in the Buddha vows video as well. Yeah, so I will request the volunteers to share the Buddha vows video with everybody in this group. You please watch the video. You decide if purity is your path. If you're enjoying being a greedy person, a mean person, a violent person, having cravings and aversions, and you want to do only Sunday spiritual knowledge session, Jnana Sangha is not for you. Jnana Sangha is only for those who want to stick to the path of purity. So you first watch the Buddha vows videos. You decide, yes, this is the way I want to go. Then only you come to Pre-Gurukul. And that also, you're not guaranteed you will go to Gurukul. Only if you remain consistent with the Pre-Gurukul requirements will you come to Gurukul. Yeah. I am giving you my and my family's weekend time. You need to earn it. Yes? If I am giving something, I need your commitment in return. I don't care about your money. It is dust for me. Don't even think about that. Yeah? I don't need anything. The website is free. The knowledge sessions are free. Books, you are only paying to Amazon for publishing it to you. I don't take anything. Yeah, so remember, all this you are getting for free. So you should have that kind of commitment. You need to earn this. Yeah, and it's a lot of hard work. Pre-Gurukul and Gurukul is a lot of hard work, is a lot of commitment. For this reason. Yeah. For what reason? So that only the people who have their own spiritual progress as priority, only those people get a conducive platform. People who want to do Sunday potluck spirituality must go elsewhere. This is not Sunday potluck spirituality. It is hard work. Yes, why? Because it is the cunning ego that says, I will give 4, 5, 6 years to graduation, but I'll only give 1 day in a week to spirituality. It doesn't work like that. It's harder work here. Yeah. So only those who are sincere, who have been really looking for that authentic avenue, this is where you will find it. Yeah. Please remember, those who are not sincere are asked to leave Gurukul and Pre-Gurukul. So I will request the volunteers to share with you Buddha vows videos. Go through the vows, decide if purity is your path, and then you are welcome. Anybody is welcome to join Pre-Gurukul. Take the 6 exams and then move on to Gurukul. Now what happens in Gurukul? In Gurukul, I meet you on a weekly basis. On these weekends, which I'm actually doing Ishavasya right now, I meet the Gurukul people. I do a particular verse, I do a particular scripture. They write their understanding, what they see, not an intellectual understanding, a direct seeing, in their journals, and I check those journals on a weekly basis. Yeah, even self-explorations they do, they write to me what is their direct seeing of the self-exploration. I check them, I correct them if they are on the wrong track. If they've written the self-exploration from the level of the body-mind, I tell them, no, this is not the correct understanding. Attempt this again. And I give them a hint what it would be from the witnessing stand. I don't spoon-feed them. I ensure that they drop the body-mind stand and take the witnessing stand and redo the self-exploration from the witnessing stand. So you see, there's so much work involved from my side, yeah, with each person. So that is why you have to earn your way there. Yeah. Earn your way if you're really interested in finding that avenue, if you are really thirsting for a genuine avenue. I hope I clarified that. What is Pre-Gurukul and what is Gurukul? Any other question on Pre-Gurukul?
There are more questions, Didi, but we have Kirti who has raised her hand and we can get to the other questions.
Okay. Yes, Kirti.
So, Didi, I've been writing to you almost daily now. So, I've worked a lot on the attachments and it's very clear. And witnessing and journaling is helping. But I can see clearly that I'm trapped in this conditioning.
Yes. Yes.
It's clear. I'm trapped.
Yeah.
And childhood things are coming more in the dreams. And adulthood is attacking. There is some freedom, some things like I was recognizing that some cravings have just dropped. Like projection is not happening. Like say today there was a community get together. It was not strong enough. There is knowing that it's something, but there is no desire to go. So automatically it dropped. Yet some things are strongly held onto. I mean, I've recognized like after today's session that I've not seen clearly the origin and the dissolution of I. There is not conditioning.
Yes.
But there is an aversion to the conditioning, and I can see that. I'm just owning it.
Yeah. No aversion, not required. No, darling. That also needs to be understood. That is what was explained. That the avidya or ignorance also teaches me something. Whatever is manifested is my own projection. my family, my community, my neighborhood, my office, my colleagues, all of it is my projection. And where is that projection born of? My desire. Yeah, so first I recognize how I am projecting. I have taught you this, yeah. At the Gurukul level, you go deeper into each point, and I have already taught their batch how first there is a projection at the subtle level, and that subtle projection manifests at the gross manifestation, the physical level. Yeah, so first start recognizing there is a skill required. You have to really work and hone that skill. What is the skill? Seeing that, oh, at the subtle level, the thought appeared first, and then it manifested at the gross level. First, at the subtle level, there was that thought about the daughter, and there at the gross level, she started doing that particular thing, whatever I thought of at the subtle level. So this is a process of understanding the mind. You stay devoted to understanding. If you bring in aversion to the daughter or whatever drama she created or whatever happened, then you are cutting yourself from understanding that the subtle projected the gross. Simply be with that. Oh, the subtle projected the gross. Can I catch it at the subtle? Okay, I missed it this time, but next time, can I become aware? To become aware the next time, I need to be able to recognize certain sensual chords. Yeah, whatever it is, there is a greed, there is a fear, there is a hatred. These are the sensual chords. Yeah, lobha, moha, dosa. This Buddha has very clearly shown, oh, these chords are there. So it is familiar. It's not an unfamiliar territory. Next time when I recognize the subtle thought come up, it will come with one of these chords. Either there will be the lobha, the moha, or the dosa. I should recognize the flavor and withdraw, knowing that this subtle is going to manifest at the gross level. Once you recognize your power, that I have withdrawn now, again I've withdrawn, oh, I have the power to withdraw. Then you'll become the master of that situation rather than having aversion like you are having right now. Yeah? So attempt to work on becoming the master. This aversion and this craving and these silly things you've done enough in life, they lead only to misery. Only to misery. Nothing else happens. Yeah. Focus, number 1, on recognizing the flavor. Number 2, becoming clear this flavor is familiar. I know what it is going to manifest into. And 3, withdraw. Withdraw how? I've taught you. It is a mental wiper. At the mental level, I wipe it away. And you do this many times. I'm not telling you something you don't know. Many times a thought comes up and you're like, why am I thinking this? You wipe it away. You erase it yourself. Do you realize it? I'm not telling you something you don't know or you've not been doing. I'm telling you to now intentionally be aware where this wiper is required. You are consciousness. You are Brahman. You have the capacity to wipe.
Didi, the biggest aversion is to the clutter that is already there of conditioning. The new ones are wiping off, like I can see it clearly.
Yeah.
They come in my dreams.
Yes. We just keep working. The oldest conditioning will be the last to leave. Yeah, the oldest conditioning will be the last to leave. The oldest conditioning is where Mama said, say this is I and this is you. That was the first conditioning. Yeah? Because Mama said, Kirti, is Kirti hungry? You used to say, yes, Kirti is hungry. Then Mama said, no, say I am hungry. The I and the you, the division, the duality was taught is an acquired thing. That which is acquired can be erased. That is the last to go. Yeah? It's first in, last out. Yes. So, till that point, you should know I have work to do. I need to continue doing it. Yeah. Good. Yes, Shalini.
We can go to
Yes.
Ektaji. When the eye drops, then what is the encouragement doing daily chores?
There is that recognition, daily chores happen. There is no doer there. To see that magic, there is no other motivation greater than that. There is no other inspiration greater than that. Oh, everything is happening of its own accord. Now I understand why Ashtavakra says, Na karta si, na bhokta si. You are not the doer, you are not the experiencer. Now I understand why all the Upanishad sages say everything is an automaticity. Now I understand why Nisargadatta Maharaj calls it a maryada in which the body, mind and the world function like a machine. You start seeing, not believing, not intellectualizing, not memorizing, but seeing. That is greater than your nonsense parties and disco and whatever movies and fun, frolic. No, that is the greatest. That motivation. There's nothing greater than that. To see the magic at play, to see Maya at play. There is no greater power than that. Then all this nonsense goes away of the world.
The next question. On the Advaita path, is Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana sufficient for seeing the collapse of the eye? Or are there additional sadhanas that can help?
No, there are no other sadhanas that can help. There has not been a sage who has not mentioned that he is Turiya or the fourth. There is not a sage out there, not an enlightened one out there who has not mentioned that I am the fourth. And then he has mentioned I am beyond the fourth. How do you even get to the fourth? After recognizing I am not the first, I am not the second, I am not the third, then only do you come to the recognition I am the fourth. And then even the fourth collapses, the Turiya collapses, the sense of I am collapses into the beyond. All this is seen by all the sages. There is no other way. Dancing, singing, worshipping, human worship, idol worship, none of it. No blessings, no miracles, no chanting, no breathing, no mantra, no pranayam, no yoga. Nothing can take you there. Nothing can take you there. Only your direct seeing can take you there. Only your direct seeing. I've done this in detail in Ramadrishti. Ramadrishti sessions are available on the website as well as on YouTube, in which Lord Rama is instructing Lakshmana about the way to get enlightened. And Lakshmana is a Kshatriya, he is stuck in doership. So if you find yourself to be the Kshatriya, you are stuck in doership. I am the doer, I am the doer, I am the doer. That is where he is instructing him that doership or karma cannot take you there. Only jnana yoga, only knowledge of the highest can take you there. So do that. All the videos are available. Do that in detail. You'll have to get the Ramadrishti book. It's the Rama Gita, basically it's called. And then slowly you will get over this whole idea of I am the doer, I am the experiencer. It takes some time. It depends on your conditioning, how much time you will take.
This is a question regarding Jagat Mithya Journey, point 3. In Jagat Mithya Journey, you stand as Shunyata. That is the point 3. The question is, perceive consciousness at rest and consciousness in motion as a unified whole, as Shunyata.
Can you repeat the last sentence? You just broke out. I don't know, just for me or for everybody?
the question on the point 3 is how can I perceive consciousness at rest and consciousness in motion as a unified whole, as Shuddha?
Only after you get to Brahman Satyam is that possible. If you cannot see it as oneness, that means you have not achieved Brahman Satyam. Yeah, you can. There are no shortcuts here. If you see the verses as sequential, it tells you this is the first step, this is next, this is next, this is next, this is next. You cannot say, oh, I'm going to take a rocket and get there by jet speed. No. Your conditioning is blocking your way. Your impurities are clouding your vision. You cannot get there. You will have to get over your impurities. You will have to get over your old conditioning. Once you get to Brahman Satyam, you recognize, oh, this I collapse, that collapse, that collapse, that collapse, that collapse. Oh, all these I's, the so-called somebodies, are actually nothingness, nobodies. That recognition of nobodiness, nothingness, is a personal direct seeing. Yeah? Only Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana or Buddha Samadhis can take you there. Be very clear, in Samadhi, there is a danger of mind manufactured images. You can get lost in that. I have a whole blog post, I think 2-3 blog posts on mind manufactured images in Samadhi. You can search on the blog. Yeah, that is one danger. That needs to be overcome. Similarly, on Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana path, what needs to be overcome? The belief that I am the waker. Your beginning point has to be, I am the witness of the waker. If the beginning stone, the beginning point, the beginning foundation is wrong, you will not even begin your journey of the collapse of the I. Not possible. There is no other way. There are no other techniques that can take you there, and there are no shortcuts. Once you see everything is Brahman, everything is nothingness, then you see the husband as the dream tiger, the wife as the dream tiger, the child as the dream tiger, the whole chaotic situation in office as the dream tiger. It appears to be real, but I know it's not. It appears to fool me right now, but it is nothing but one consciousness. Yeah? It has to be your own seeing. Again, do not believe Ekta blindly. Start your Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana today.
The next question is on Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana. I am not able to progress on SNGS. I remind myself that I am the witness of this body mind before I go to sleep, but then sleep completely takes over. I am not aware of the transitions between the states.
Yes. That's because of your heavy conditioning, very heavy conditioning. Yes, you'll have to work harder. You can't say, I will practice Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana today and forget it for the next 7-10 days. No, it has to be daily. And if you're lucky enough, you work from home, or you're really fortunate that you have the afternoon nap opportunity, take it. Even if you just nap for 15 to 20 minutes, be serious about it. Yeah? Again and again read the Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana instructions. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of your life, I don't know how old you are, so many years you have believed I am the waker, and then you have believed I the waker sleep, and then I the waker am sleeping on the bed and I'm having a dream, and there is a dream body there, and there is a waking body which is lying down in bed. You have fooled yourself with all these concepts. This is all lies. At the end of waking, the waker disappears. So how can you say you were still lying in bed? Yeah, to overcome this conditioning, it's going to take some time. 40, 50, 60, 70 years of your life, you made yourself believe you were that. So you have to give yourself that much time. You have to make that much effort. You cannot say it should happen overnight. Yeah, that's why pre-Gurukul. Everybody is helping everybody just by putting their SNGS command, they put in the flock channel. That's how they help each other. Just by doing that. The mind gets motivated. Oh, I'm not practicing as much as the others are. Yeah. So, work on yourself. Be patient. I have patience with you. Keep patience with yourself.
There is some clarification needed on some terms, Ektaji. So there are a couple of questions related to this.
Yeah.
Is sense of I am the witness consciousness, and I sense is the illusory person? Is the illusory person?
No. Witness consciousness is equal to I sense is equal to sense of I am. You put I before the sense or you put the I after the sense is the same thing. These are just translations from local Indian languages. Please understand. Yeah, Maharaj called it the sense of I am. Adi Shankaracharya called it witness consciousness. In Sanskrit, Maharaj was speaking in Marathi. Yeah, Atmananda Krishna Menon was speaking in Malayalam. He called it the lower witness. So these are different terms used by different sages in different ancient, or Sanskrit is ancient, Pali is ancient, but the other Indian languages which are not so ancient anymore, which are used today. Yeah, so these are different words for the same thing. Yeah, please do Saint Kabir's. Right at the beginning I have explained all of this. Witness consciousness is equal to sense of I am, is equal to I sense, is equal to lower witness. And then Saint Kabir's poetry also has different words for it. Yeah, Saguna Brahma. Saguna. Only after you start walking the Jagat Mithya path, you see, oh, it's Saguna Brahman. And I am Nirguna Brahman. Yeah, so different terms will come up. This was in Saint Kabir's poetry. So do Saint Kabir's, whoever asked this question, Saint Kabir's Vishishta Advaita Level 1 videos are on the website. You will get all these answers.
And similar confusion on the terms waker, waking consciousness.
Waker, we did that, no? Waker plus the waker's world, both together are one. They are not two. You cannot prove the existence of the waking world without the waker. I did this in the last Upanishad weekend. Yeah. You cannot prove the waker's existence without the waking world. You cannot prove the waking world to be existing without the waker. They are not two, they are one. When you start recognizing they are one, it is termed as waking consciousness. And this is from Mandukya Upanishad. I have done the Mandukya Upanishad also in detail. So please find the videos on the website or on YouTube, whatever you prefer. Yeah. So Mandukya Upanishad very clearly has Sanskrit words for them. The waking consciousness, the dream consciousness, the deep sleep consciousness. Okay.
This is a question about Brahman.
Yeah.
Brahman projects and it knows the consciousness in motion and doesn't respond. Only when the slip happens, the vicious cycle repeats. Is this all a play of Brahman, the pure consciousness, to entertain itself?
First, you tell me, why do you project a dream tiger, then become fearful of the dream tiger? You run away from the dream tiger, you're panting, sweating, you wake up in fear, and you crib the next morning, oh, I didn't sleep well because I saw a tiger in my dream. Why do you do it? Do you have an answer? The day you can give me this answer, I will give you the answer why Brahman projects. That is the nature. A snake bites, a scorpion stings, a butterfly looks beautiful, the sun rises, the wind blows. It's just the nature. The nature of Brahman is to have Maya. Maya is its power, it's not its weakness. Yeah, it is its power. You see it as a weakness because you are stuck in the illusion. You create your own misery. Yeah. When you come to the other side, finish your Brahman Satyam journey, come to Jagat Mithya, then you become powerful. Then you see Maya as power, not as a weakness. Yeah. Then the tiger of the dreams will not bother you. Dreams collapse. You're constantly the witness. You're always in Turiya. There will never be a waking consciousness that bothers you. There will not be a dream consciousness that bothers you. There will not be a deep sleep consciousness that bothers you. All will be seen as one. One. Attempt to get there. It's not so hard. It's not so hard. Yeah. You have made it hard. It's very simple.
This participant wants just a confirmation. So is unmanifest and manifest equivalent to consciousness at rest and consciousness in motion?
Yes, that's correct.
Is waker consciousness the same as reflected consciousness term used in Vedanta?
In Drigdrishya Viveka, I have taught you that also. You'll find the Drigdrishya Viveka videos on the website and on YouTube. The reflected consciousness is the witness consciousness. The witness consciousness is reflecting what? It's reflecting the pure consciousness, the primordial awareness. Primordial awareness or pure consciousness is also H2O. Witness consciousness is also the same formula, the same H2O. Just because it appears like a drop and that appears like a single mass, it seems to be different. But at the core, they are the same formula. This is H2O, this is H2O. I'm explaining with an analogy. Yeah. The analogy of the pool and the drop of water. It is one and the same. So, this is reflecting H2O. Hence, this is called the reflected consciousness. The witness consciousness is called the reflected consciousness. In Sanskrit, Chidabhasa. Yeah, I've taught you that in the Drigdrishya Viveka videos. Watch those online.
There are no further questions on Chatiktaji.
Okay, perfect. So now that you have no more questions, I will let you go. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again in October. September is the long Buddha retreat, so pardon me, I don't have a weekend free, and whatever I have free, the Gurukul sessions need to resume on those weekends. So in October, we'll find a weekend and we'll send you the announcement. We'll complete Ishavasya Upanishad and start a new Upanishad. Let the new Upanishad be a surprise. Okay?
Ektaji, one last question.
Bolo.
Ektaji, like from the primordial awareness, as we speak yesterday, the waking consciousness and the avidya and vidya both are manifest from the primordial awareness. Now, the conditioning happening is both internal, like by myself, like I, and from the external, like my mom telling I need to eat, like not Prasanna needs to eat. And then there are some conditioning that I do it myself, saying that I like this park, I like this car. So this is conditioning, like that is what is happening on me. Now, are these conditioning also happening from the pool of consciousness, that in the waking motion, waking consciousness, this conditioning I am, like body mind is doing that itself?
The body mind is not doing. Even this question Prasanna is not asking. There is a question. Yeah. Then suddenly the body mind of Prasanna is known. And then there is the Tadatma between the question and the body mind arising. So this whole story is created by combining the perception of sight of the body of Prasanna neck down, which is nothing but for the shape of the body and the color of the body. Yeah, that is perception of sight, plus the sensation of solidity. So you see how I combined two sensations, and I said, I am Prasanna's body. Thought that arose about the question to ask Ekta, now that is also put into the story. So I combined perception of sight of the body, neck down, perception of solidity, which is nothing but sensation. Then the thought. And I said, Prasanna is asking this question. Do you realize how I've created a story? What is reality? Were all three present together? No. That is reality. What is lies? These three woven together as one single story. Now, is this clear? What is illusion? Now, this illusion was missing in Prasanna when Prasanna was a toddler. He could not even stand. He was a baby. Yeah, in the cradle, in the crib. He used to look at colors. Parents might be showing different toys, but Prasanna did not know this is a bat, this is a ball, this is a car. Prasanna did not know this is red, this is blue, this is green. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
It was taught.
Yes.
It is acquired. This is green, this is red, this is blue, this is called a car, this is called a bat, this is called a ball. Do you recognize this? You didn't even know this is mommy and this is daddy.
Yes.
Yes? Soon all this is put together. It's put together. And the story of Prasanna being this is created. From childhood to teenage to adulthood to job, whatever, life in the US, marriage, children, etc., etc., etc. This entire body is created like this by putting perception, sensation, thought and feeling together into a story. My job is to go back to that Prasanna who didn't call this green, didn't call this blue, didn't call this car, didn't call this sofa, didn't call this you, and didn't call this I. This is the key. When you drop this distinction, you have dropped diversity, you have dropped duality, and you come to Advaitam. That's where you recognize, oh, it's all consciousness. It's the play of consciousness. Do you get it? Like the dream tiger is my play. I only manufacture the dream tiger. I only am afraid of it. I only run away from it. I am sweating, panting, palpitating. And then I only wake up and say, dream tiger was not real. All my Maya belongs to me, created by me, suffered by me, and even shunned by me.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a little trailer of what the macrocosm is. Brahman is doing the same thing. Its own Maya, it's afraid of its own Maya, manifests its own Maya, destroys its own Maya, and says, okay, I'm awake now. This was all nonsense. Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully that was the last question. Today is my travel day, so I cannot continue longer, but I will see you soon. And those who are deciding to join Pre-Gurukul, please send us an email on this Ishavasya Upanishad email ID itself. Send us an email. I'm interested in joining Pre-Gurukul, and Hongyu will add you to the Pre-Gurukul group. Yes, but you must be sure, number one, you really want to adhere to the path of purity, and number two, you know you are sharp-sighted, not dim-sighted. Yes. Then you're more than welcome to join. Yeah. I will see you soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye bye.